For over 2 decades, Jay-Z has sold the world a story. The story of the kid from Marcy Projects who became a billionaire, a mogul, a family man married to the most powerful woman in music.
More than 3 million pages, 2,000 videos, and 180,000 images. CNN teams are carefully sifting through the largest, and what the Justice Department says is the last, batch of Jeffrey Epstein files.
But now, over 3 million pages of freshly released Epstein documents have his name buried inside them. And the internet is losing its mind.
If you take people like Jay-Z and Pusha T, they made their living killing our people. So how the f they gonna stand up for our people? You know?
Connections to Diddy, connections to Harvey Weinstein, connections to R. Kelly. And now his name is appearing in FBI documents related to the most notorious predator of our generation. Something ain't adding up. And we're about to break all of it down. On January 30th, 2026, the U.S. Department of Justice released over 3 million pages of documents related to Jeffrey Epstein under the Epstein Files Transparency Act. These files included FBI records, emails, intake reports, and thousands upon thousands of pages that the public had never seen before. And buried within this absolutely massive trove of documentation were what investigators call crisis intake reports, essentially logs of anonymous hotline tips that were submitted to the FBI back in 2019, shortly before Epstein's death. Now here's where things get extremely complicated and extremely controversial.
I should note that just because someone is mentioned in these documents does not mean that they've been accused of wrongdoing or did anything wrong. Many of these claims are unverified or they rely on secondhand information.
That's the official stance from the Department of Justice. But let me tell you, the social media fallout has been absolutely catastrophic. So what exactly do these documents say about Jay-Z? Let me break this down for you, piece by piece, because the details matter here. According to the files, Jay-Z's name appears in a single 2019 FBI intake report from an anonymous hotline tip. The caller, a woman whose identity was redacted, claimed that back in 1996 she was abducted from her home and allegedly woke up in what she believed was Jeffrey Epstein's Florida mansion. And according to this tip, she described waking up in a room where disgraced Hollywood producer Harvey Weinstein was present alongside Jay-Z. But wait, there's more. The same tip also mentions rapper Pusha T, real name Terrence LeVar Thornton, who the caller described as one of her handlers during alleged incidents of abuse that occurred between 2006 and 2007. Now I need to be absolutely crystal clear about something here, and this is crucial. Jay-Z does not appear in Epstein's verified contact lists, flight logs, travel records, or any confirmed evidence of association with Epstein's inner circle. The mention comes solely from this single anonymous tip, not from Epstein's personal documents, not from witness testimonies in court, and not from any corroborated law enforcement investigation. And this distinction is absolutely vital, because here's what many people don't understand about these files. The FBI received thousands upon thousands of tips during the Epstein investigation. Some of those tips came from legitimate sources with actual information, but many of them, and this is just the reality of how these hotlines work, many of them came from people who had no actual evidence, people who were speculating, people who were making things up, and yes, even people who wanted to damage the reputations of public figures they didn't like. The FBI documented all of these tips, every single one. And the release of these documents doesn't mean that every claim within them has been verified or even investigated. These tips are unverified, raw submissions from the public, not evidence from Epstein's personal logs or confirmed investigations. No charges or formal probes have stemmed from them against the individuals mentioned. And here's something that many people in the hip-hop community have pointed out, and it's actually a really important observation. The timeline simply doesn't add up for many people. Think about it. The alleged incident from the anonymous tip dates back to 1996. That was the exact same year that Jay-Z released his debut album, Reasonable Doubt. At that point in his career, Sean Carter wasn't a billionaire mogul rubbing shoulders with the global elite. He was an emerging rapper from Brooklyn trying to break into an industry that had largely ignored him. As some fans, including superstar Lizzo, wonder, why would Jay-Z, a relative nobody in 1996, be attending elite parties at Jeffrey Epstein's Florida mansion alongside Harvey Weinstein?
What did it say Jay-Z did? He was there in 1996? Come on, people. Like, y'all are falling for it. It's the easiest, oldest trick in the book.
It's a question that many people are asking, and it's a question that doesn't have a clear answer. But regardless of whether these claims have any merit whatsoever, the social media fallout has been absolutely devastating. Within hours of the document release, posts about Jay-Z and the Epstein files were trending across every major platform. On X, formerly known as Twitter, the hashtags #Epstein files and #Jay-Z were absolutely exploding. On Reddit, threads were garnering thousands and thousands of upvotes and comments. And on Instagram, reports were claiming that Jay-Z lost over 100,000 followers in a matter of hours, with even high-profile celebrities allegedly hitting that unfollow button. Now, some of these claims about mass unfollows have been disputed. Jay-Z's official Instagram account still shows around 1 million followers, and it's worth noting that he hasn't been particularly active on the platform since 2021. But the perception of a crumbling empire, whether accurate or exaggerated, has taken on a life of its own. And then there's this. Remember that old video of Kanye West? The one where he talks about Jay-Z and Pusha T? Well, that clip has absolutely resurfaced with a vengeance.
If you take people like Jay-Z and Pusha T, they made their living killing our people. So how the f they gonna stand up for our people?
That clip is everywhere right now. Fans are sharing it with captions like, "Kanye tried to tell us," and "Ye is never wrong, just early." And whether you love Kanye or hate him, whether you think he's a prophet or a madman, that video is adding fuel to a fire that was already burning out of control. And then, because this is hip-hop and there's always someone ready to stir the pot, 50 Cent jumped into the conversation. Now, if you know anything about Curtis Jackson, you know that the man absolutely loves for moments like this. And true to form, 50 Cent took to social media to troll Jay-Z, posting articles about the Epstein files and making jokes about potentially making a documentary about the situation.
"I know I'm late on this, but this is kinda crazy. God is good,"
50 Cent reportedly quipped online. And look, is 50 Cent the most reliable source of information in hip-hop? Absolutely not. The man has been feuding with various celebrities for literally decades. But his involvement in this story speaks to something larger, the sense that the walls are closing in on certain figures in the entertainment industry, and that longtime rivals are smelling blood in the water. Now, here's where things get even more complicated, and honestly, even more disturbing. Because the Epstein files aren't the only controversy swirling around Jay-Z right now. There's a whole constellation of allegations, rumors, and resurfaced claims that have emerged in recent months. And when you look at them all together, a pattern starts to emerge that has a lot of people asking some very uncomfortable questions. And 50 Cent, he's not just trolling on Instagram anymore. He's going all in.
50 Cent has decided to weigh in on the Jay-Z Epstein files that got released, which was no matter of time. I mean, this guy is immediately on it. He was a little late.
That's right. Curtis Jackson has officially announced plans to create a documentary about Jay-Z in the wake of the Epstein file revelations. And if you know anything about 50 Cent's documentary work, including his upcoming Diddy project, you know that this man does not play when it comes to exposing people. 50 posted 2 photos of Jay-Z on Instagram with a caption that read, "Damn, they got your man Jay in the Epstein files. I gotta do a doc on this." Just like that. Off the rip, he's already thinking about a full-scale documentary investigation.
Now, here's the kind of issue with that. And I know it sounds exciting and it's 50 has these type of moments where he'll just say some stuff. The issue with it, there isn't any solid evidence yet.
And that's the reality of this entire situation. But 50 Cent has the resources, the connections, and frankly, the motivation to dig deeper than anyone else in hip-hop. Remember what Surviving R. Kelly did to R. Kelly's career? That documentary brought down an empire, and 50 Cent knows exactly how powerful that format can be.
If 50 can get these victims and can get more evidence and actually piece them together, then yeah, a documentary would be explosive. It would be the biggest thing ever, and it would definitely take down Jay-Z, just like Surviving R. Kelly took down R. Kelly.
And here's why people are taking this so seriously. It's not just the Epstein files, it's the pattern
going on. Because that's the question that a lot of people have when it relates to Jay-Z. What is going on? There's a lot of smoke surrounding his name. We haven't found the fire yet, but there's a lot of smoke surrounding his name. And a lot of people are raising their eyebrows saying, hey, is this guy involved?
Think about it. Jay-Z was extremely close to Diddy, who is now facing federal charges. Jay-Z was close to R. Kelly, who is now serving decades in prison. Jay-Z collaborated extensively with Harvey Weinstein, who is a convicted rapist. And now his name appears in the Epstein files alongside these same kinds of allegations.
He's been tied close to Diddy. Now he was tied close to R. Kelly. He was tied close to Harvey Weinstein. These are 3 individuals that have all been locked up for something relating to abuse or, whatever the case may be.
That's 3 convicted predators that Jay-Z maintained close relationships with over the years. And now a 4th connection to Jeffrey Epstein's world has emerged in these documents. And then there's Jaguar Wright. If you're not familiar with Jaguar Wright, she's a former Rockefeller recording artist who has become one of the most vocal critics of the music industry's dark underbelly. And recently, she sat down with Piers Morgan for an interview that absolutely set the internet on fire.
So let's just start with Piers Morgan, because there's a headline that went out that was very powerful that people are running with, where it just says, Jay-Z is the real monster.
That headline, Jay-Z is the real monster, has been circulating everywhere. And when asked directly about the connection between Diddy and Jay-Z, Wright used a metaphor that has become iconic in this conversation.
And Diddy and Jay-Z is peanut butter jelly.
Peanut butter and jelly. Let's deal with the sandwich.
Now I need to be very clear here. Jaguar Wright's allegations are exactly that, allegations. She has not provided court-documented proof of her claims, but her willingness to speak on these matters publicly, repeatedly, and on major platforms has kept these conversations alive. But perhaps one of the most shocking revelations to resurface amid all of this controversy comes from an unexpected source, the internationally acclaimed artist MIA.
Even when I met Jay-Z and I signed to Rock Nation, the first thing he told me to do is get plastic surgery.
Let that sink in for a moment. According to MIA, the very first thing Jay-Z told her, an internationally successful artist, a Grammy-nominated musician, was to alter her physical appearance through surgery.
And I didn't. Because it's okay. Guess what? I'm 50. And I'm totally fine with the fact I am, because, yeah, I took off when I was 30. Because it took 10 more years than any other motherfucker, because I was the first and I was the new. And I was like making something interesting happen that wasn't happening before.
MIA refused. She stood her ground. And now, with the Epstein files putting Jay-Z back in the spotlight, the clip has been reposted and shared millions of times, with many people pointing to it as evidence of a broader pattern of control and objectification of women in his sphere. And through all of this, the Epstein files, the documentary announcement, the resurfaced allegations, what has Jay-Z said publicly? Nothing. Absolutely nothing.
So, do you think the Carters will speak about any of this at all? Do you just feel that they'll make any statement about
Beyonce
what's going
is
on?
Losing hundreds of thousands, millions of followers every day. And she still hasn't said anything.
The silence from the Carter household has been absolutely deafening. And in the absence of any official statement, speculation continues to fill the void. But we cannot, absolutely cannot, have this conversation without acknowledging the actual victims of Jeffrey Epstein.
Once again, survivors are having their names and identifying information exposed, while the men who abused us remain hidden and protected. That is outrageous.
This is critical, because while the internet debates celebrity involvement, actual survivors are being re-traumatized. Their names are being exposed, while alleged perpetrators remain protected behind walls of redactions.
There's nothing there, then what are you redacting?
That's what I would have said to him.
The question that haunts this entire story is simple. Who is being protected and who is being exposed? Let me paint you a picture of exactly what's at stake here. Jay-Z is not just a rapper. He hasn't been just a rapper for a very, very long time. Sean Carter has built a multi-billion-dollar empire that extends far beyond music, and every single piece of that empire is now potentially at risk. We're talking about Roc Nation, his entertainment and sports management company that represents some of the biggest names in the industry, from Rihanna to Megan Thee Stallion to Kevin Durant. We're talking about his investments in companies like Uber. We're talking about Tidal, the streaming service. We're talking about Armand de Brignac Champagne and Douce Cognac. We're talking about partnerships with Puma, the NFL, and countless other major brands. His net worth exceeds $2 billion, making him one of the wealthiest figures in entertainment history. And all of that wealth, all of that power, all of that influence, it's all built on reputation. And here's the brutal truth about reputation in the age of social media. Even an unverified mention in the Epstein files can inflict significant reputational and financial damage due to the scandal's toxicity. Think about it. The name Jeffrey Epstein has become synonymous with the worst kind of exploitation, abuse, and elite corruption. Anyone whose name appears in connection with Epstein, regardless of context, regardless of whether the claims are verified, is immediately viewed through that lens. We've seen it happen to other figures. Prince Andrew's reputation was destroyed. Bill Gates has admitted his association with Epstein was a huge mistake. And the stain of connection, even a tenuous, unverified connection, doesn't wash off easily. And we absolutely cannot have this conversation without talking about Beyoncé. Because here's the thing that so many people forget. Jay-Z and Beyoncé are not just husband and wife. They are a combined business empire worth well over $3 billion. Their brands are intertwined in ways that most people don't even fully understand. From joint tours that gross hundreds of millions of dollars, to shared investments, shared real estate portfolios, and a combined cultural influence that rivals any power couple in modern history. What affects Jay-Z inevitably affects Beyoncé. And that's exactly what we're seeing play out in real time. Reports indicate that Beyoncé has been hemorrhaging followers on social media, not because of anything she's done personally, but because of the cloud now hanging over her husband. High-profile accounts have allegedly unfollowed the couple. There are even unconfirmed reports that Jay-Z's own mother-in-law, Tina Knowles, unfollowed him on Instagram, though this has been disputed. But whether these specific claims are true or exaggerated, the broader point remains. The controversy surrounding Jay-Z is not contained to Jay-Z alone. It's spreading to everyone in his orbit. And let's talk about how the hip-hop community itself is responding to all of this, because the reaction has been absolutely fascinating to watch. On one hand, you have artists and industry figures who have remained completely silent. No statements of support for Jay-Z, no public defenses, just nothing. And in an industry where loyalty has always been paramount, where snitching is considered the ultimate sin, and where artists typically rally around their own, that silence is speaking volumes. On the other hand, you have figures like 50 Cent who are actively amplifying the controversy. You have resurfaced clips from Kanye West that are being treated like prophecy. You have commentators and podcasters diving into every detail, every connection, every possible thread that might link Jay-Z to something larger.
So we don't know. There's no solid proof of anything, but 50 Cent, hey, if he's actually going to do a documentary, he might actually hire people, investigators, to look into all this stuff and see what is going on.
And that's the thing. In the absence of official investigations, in the absence of criminal charges, the court of public opinion is conducting its own trial. Social media has become judge, jury, and executioner. And the verdict, at least in the eyes of many online commentators, has already been rendered. And then there's the Kanye factor.
But we forget that because we love Jay-Z's music so much. We love Push's music so much, right? But you think they would ever, Beyonce had the best fit for somebody else?
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? You think they would ever tell the truth? No, if they told the truth, they'd go to jail.
Liars are now the face of our culture. That clip, which was recorded years ago during one of Kanye's many public feuds with Jay-Z, has taken on an entirely new meaning in light of recent events. Fans are treating it as a prophecy. They're pointing to it as proof that Kanye knew something, that he was trying to warn us, that the truth was right there in front of us the whole time. Now, is that a fair interpretation? Kanye has made a lot of wild claims over the years, many of which have not panned out. But in the current climate, where trust in celebrities and institutions is at an all-time low, people are willing to believe the worst about anyone who has achieved that level of success. And here's something else that people aren't talking about enough. What happens to the artists signed to Roc Nation if this controversy continues to escalate? Think about it. Roc Nation represents some of the biggest names in music right now. These are artists who have hitched their careers to Jay-Z's wagon, who have trusted him with their business affairs, their brand partnerships, their entire professional lives. If Jay-Z's reputation continues to deteriorate, if brands start distancing themselves from him, if the industry begins to treat him as toxic, what happens to those artists? Do they stay loyal and risk being dragged down with him? Or do they quietly seek representation elsewhere, distancing themselves from a sinking ship? These are the calculations that are almost certainly being made behind closed doors right now, and the answers could reshape the entire landscape of the music industry. So what does this all mean for Jay-Z going forward? If these associations with Epstein continue in public discourse, through media coverage, social media speculation, or further file releases, Jay-Z could face serious consequences that extend far beyond reputation. First, there's the potential impact on his brand deals and business partnerships. Companies that have built relationships with Jay-Z based on his aspirational image, his narrative of the self-made billionaire, the family man, the philanthropist, those companies may start to distance themselves if the controversy continues to grow. There are already reports that the NFL unfollowed Jay-Z on Instagram shortly after the 2026 file release, amid questions about his ongoing role in NFL entertainment deals, like the Super Bowl halftime shows. While this hasn't been officially confirmed, the mere rumor speaks to the precarious position Jay-Z now finds himself in. Second, there's the potential for further legal action. While the recent civil lawsuit against him was dismissed, the legal system is unpredictable, and new claims could emerge at any time. Jay-Z has already stated that previous false allegations caused him $20 million in annual business losses, including damaged family and professional relationships. And third, there's the cultural impact. Jay-Z has long been celebrated as one of hip-hop's greatest success stories, a man who rose from the Marcy Projects in Brooklyn to become one of the most powerful figures in entertainment. But in an era where accountability is demanded and cancel culture is real, that narrative could be rewritten overnight. Jaguar Wright, for her part, seems to believe that this is just the beginning.
It seems like these artists are trying to run away from their past. Diddy changed his name multiple times to say, that's not me, I'm trying to move beyond Diddy, I'm Love now.
Whether you believe Jaguar Wright's claims or not, her point about running from the past is worth considering. In situations like this, public figures typically have two options: address the allegations directly or remain silent and hope the storm passes. So far, Jay-Z has not publicly responded to the Epstein file mentioned specifically. And in the absence of a response, speculation continues to fill the void. But let's return one final time to the people who matter most in this entire conversation: the survivors.
Exactly. And so to stand on that podium and say, well, there's no names here, and to hear for months now, there's nothing in this, there's no reason, but then there should be no reason to have a black page.
That question cuts to the heart of everything. If there's nothing there, then what is being redacted? Who is being protected? And why? The Epstein saga has always been about more than one man. It's been about a system, a network of wealth and power that allegedly enabled horrific abuse for decades. And until that system is fully exposed, until every name that should be public becomes public, until accountability actually arrives, the questions will continue. So where does this leave us? The facts are these. Jay-Z's name appears in unverified FBI hotline tips included in the Epstein file release. He is not named in Epstein's verified personal documents, flight logs, or contact lists. No criminal charges have been filed against him related to these mentions. and the one civil lawsuit that named him alongside Diddy has been dismissed. But in the court of public opinion, facts sometimes matter less than perception. And right now, the perception is that Jay-Z is in the middle of the biggest crisis of his career. The timing of all of this could not be worse for the Carter empire. We're talking about a man who has spent decades carefully cultivating an image of success, of sophistication, of having transcended the streets to become a legitimate businessman and cultural icon. That image is now under siege from multiple directions. The Epstein file mentions the aftermath of the Diddy lawsuit, the 50 Cent documentary announcement, and the constant drumbeat of social media speculation. And here's what makes this moment particularly dangerous for Jay-Z. We live in an era where the algorithm rewards controversy. Every post about the Epstein files, every meme about Jay-Z, every hot take from a podcaster or YouTuber, it all feeds into a machine that amplifies scandal and buries nuance. The more people talk about this, the more the platforms push the content. And the more the content spreads, the more it shapes public perception, regardless of what the actual facts might be.
There's landmines of people spreading fake information, fake news, just to push certain narratives of artists they don't like. So just watch out for that.
That warning is absolutely crucial, because in the fog of social media warfare, separating fact from fiction becomes nearly impossible. Verified information gets mixed with speculation. Speculation gets mixed with outright fabrication. And before you know it, the truth, whatever it actually is, gets buried under an avalanche of content designed to generate clicks, views, and engagement. Whether he emerges from this unscathed, whether new revelations emerge that change the picture entirely, or whether this becomes yet another chapter in the endless saga of celebrity controversy, only time will tell. What we do know is this: the internet is watching. The survivors are demanding justice. 50 Cent is allegedly preparing a documentary. And the truth, whatever it may be, has a way of eventually coming to light. The question is, when that truth finally emerges, what will it reveal? And will anyone be prepared for the answer?